Hi, everybody. Uh, Thank you all for coming by and checking out our previous reactions, or Mom's previous reactions to My Hero Academia, and our live reactions to The Last of Us. Hope you all enjoyed those. If you haven't had the chance to check them out, if you are looking on this playlist, which is My Mom Reacts, I made a playlist for that. You're rolling your eyes over me making a playlist. I'm trying to make it easier for people to find it.
Okay.
But we're going to be reacting to Dr. Stone. This is episode 1, and we'll be doing a second episode. I don't know. Well, it all depends on what you think of it as to whether we watch more. But
Okay.
for now, the plan is to just do the first
Just
two.
Okay.
It is going to be in English. If watching it watching it dubbed instead of subbed bothers you, well, I'm sorry, but trying to get my mom to keep up with the quick pace of Japanese subtitles for Japanese to English subtitles, it's kind of difficult, and she'll miss out on what's actually happening on screen. So we're gonna watch it in English. This is actually a first for me. With My Hero Academia, I'd actually seen some of the dubs, so I was familiar with the voices. I don't think I've ever watched this one dubbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is going to be a first for me as far as watching it with English speaking. It's all been in Japanese for me. But the key to Dr. Stone is science. It's all about science.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. I love science, so I love this show.
Nerdy science?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like super nerdy science.
That's what
And
I
the
thought.
thing is, a lot of scientists have sat there and said, wow, this is really cool because the science is real and it's made interesting. It's not like, oh, watch Bill Nye do some cool things. It's all about how do you use science on like all different levels. Your knowledge of science helps you survive in
So is it
a
going to
crazy
be
situation.
something like MacGyver kind of science?
In a way, yeah. In a way, it's definitely, especially later on, it definitely has that MacGyver type feel to it. So yeah, it definitely.
So
if you like MacGyver, that's a good analogy. Why didn't I think of that?
Because that's what you got me for.
Right. So yeah, Dr. MacGyver Stone. That's kind of sort of what we're watching. That's really cool. Okay, let's get to it, guys.
I tried to think of who really uses science.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's MacGyver.
Support the official release, guys. Please, we're not trying to make money off of this. That's why I have it. Even on my Patreon, it's public. So, there you go.
But if you want to donate, he'll take it.
Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Very
It is.
different from My Hero Academia.
Yeah, it is.
But this is also considered Shonen Jump, or young boys. It's aimed at younger
the
boys.
younger age group.
Well, yeah, and that's the same. Well, no, it's the
Well,
same thing for My Hero Academia. They're both in the same
Teenager
genre.
or something.
But I mean, in a way, I think you called it. In a way, it is kind of like MacGyver, but
Yeah.
you're literally at human
you're
civilization starting from
MacGyver.
zero.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it that way. It's like, what if human civilization started from zero with MacGyver?
Yeah. That'd
You
be a
know,
different thing.
imagine if you could
or a
bring
MacGyver type person.
right. Imagine if you could start from the beginning of human civilization and jump from the Stone Age, essentially. Or I won't say the beginning of human civilization. Let's just say you start
How
from the
about
Stone
Noah?
Age. The Stone Age. I'm gonna go with Stone Age.
Okay.
All right. So Fred Flintstone,
Yeah. Okay.
trying to go from Fred Flintstone to modern times
Yeah.
in the span of just a few years, and
Yeah,
what
that'd
took
be hard to
and
do.
what took forever to get done.
Figure out.
Yeah. So I like this. I like this concept. I'm really interested in it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm keen to know what you think, but I also want to know what you think as well. Let me know what you guys think of Dr. Stone. I'd love to sit down and talk with you about it. I may do a show where we discuss a particular anime on this channel, where I just, we chat about one specific show that we're all into, and we just kind of, or that maybe you haven't had a chance to check out and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, I want to check it out. So please come by and do that. But What else did you like about this? What did you think about the characters? You know,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about the concept.
Well, the characters are kind of quirky. I like quirkiness.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very quirky.
Oh yeah,
the
Senku.
doctor,
What's really
yeah.
funny is Senku's just all about science.
He can't focus on anything else.
It's just all science.
It's like he'd already figured out when his friend would get undone or whatever.
And I
or
like
how long
that.
it would
I like
take
that
it.
they essentially portray this as like as him being a genius, whereas I think he has autism.
He could.
That's my.
He could.
I mean, it could be an interesting
Well-
way to look at autism because
well, it is,
look at
because
how much
autism's-
he focused in on that one thing.
Well, autistic people, and I've dealt with them a bit through teaching and things, is they function solely on that one thing,
Yeah.
and that they can be good at. They can be genius at.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as knowing how to spell every
But I think also.
every Disney princess word that there was.
Wow.
Well, I had a little autistic boy who couldn't write, who couldn't really talk much or communicate, but he knew every Disney princess's name and how to spell them all. And this was in kindergarten.
Leia.
Well,
She's a Disney princess.
yes, but he could spell every one of them. Cinderella, even, whatever was long, it didn't
Right.
matter. And he could journal that, but he couldn't write anything else or do anything
That's
else.
cool.
But
Well,
he loved
Senku-
Disney princesses, is what I'm trying to say.
Senku is very much that way about science, but he can do other things. He just doesn't want
doesn't
to.
choose to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he can socialize. He's just like, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah. So in a way,
So
it kind of
it's
might be
different
mild
from-
autism for him. I
Well,
don't think
it
it's like a
could- it could
hardcore
be-
case.
Yeah, I could see.
It's just
maybe
science is what interests him.
instead of autism, maybe the spectrum of autism where they're able
Exactly,
to,
because autism is a spectrum, guys.
right.
Yeah.
And it's I was trying to think of the word that you use for the ones that are very bright, but they're able to function better. Oh, I'll
High
think of it.
functioning?
Yeah, they're really
High functioning autism.
Well, they don't call it that. There's a word for it. But anyway, and maybe one of your readers will
Right.
remember it.
Well,
I can't at this second.
to point. All right, we're not gonna get to this episode, I don't think, because it's way out there. I think it's like 6 or 7.
Right.
But there is a point in time where he's using science to make food to convince people to help him, and this one girl eats it and she's like, "Oh, this is really good. What kind of girl are you interested in?" And he's like, the kind of girl that can, and he just straight out says what it is that he needs for his scientific
Right.
endeavors.
Right.
And it's just he could care less about
About
relationships.
anything else.
He's
Yeah,
just
he's
like, I
not
need
into
this,
relationships.
I need this step taken care of right now. And it's
Right.
not that he doesn't understand relationships. He's really good
It's not
friends. Like the thing is,
to him.
Yuzuriha, the chick, and his pal, they're actually all friends, childhood
Oh,
friends and
okay.
stuff. Yeah. And what's really cool is seeing how Senku as he grew up.
Right.
And this isn't a thing that's gonna. No, I don't. No, you're not. You're probably not gonna get that far. So I don't mind spoiling some stuff here.
Okay.
Those two are not the only humans on the planet.
I figured maybe
Well,
not.
okay. I remember when I said earlier that all the humans on the planet were turned to stone.
Right.
No one in the International Space Station was.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah, and
they
so-
weren't there.
And so here's the funny thing.
They land, and guess what?
They do. And Senku's foster father was on the ISS.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That makes every sense.
Well,
Well, it does in a way, because
but they didn't land back in Japan.
right. But
So-
what I mean about that makes sense since you can see where he got it from.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
no, actually,
Well, the
actually, what
scientific
happened?
stuff, you can see that maybe he took
Nope.
that train of thought.
It was the opposite route.
Oh, really? His dad
Senku's
got
the
into
one
it?
that got his dad
Dad
into it
into
like
it?
hardcore, because Senku liked science so much, his dad decided, I'm gonna go for broke and I'm going to become an astronaut so I can
Wow.
make my kid proud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that would really
and then
make him proud.
and what was
though.
really funny, and what's really funny is we get to a part where they're filming the astronauts getting on the ship, and he grabs the mic from the journalist and goes, "Hey Senku, I'm here."
Okay, I thought of the word
Yeah.
Asperger's.
I don't.
Asperger's is about the highest performing of the autistic
Yes.
highest
I don't think he
performing-
has Asperger's though.
But Asperger's is that functioning?
Yes.
It's the.
I definitely
I
don't
think
see it
he's-
as that extreme, but I do think he
he's
falls under.
driven.
I do think he falls under. Well, I mean, yes, you can also be driven, but I think that in a way he falls under the somewhere in that 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 not scale. What is it? Spectrum. He
Yes.
falls under that autism spectrum. I think.
Well, if he does, but Asperger's is the highest performing of all of them.
Right.
But he
he's
doesn't
also
look like that.
he's
doesn't
also a
act
high
like that.
functioning type. I mean,
Well, he's a high functioning person anyway.
Yeah.
But he could. But some people like that are genius at the thing they're genius at.
right.
But they have no common sense. Does he have common sense?
Not really. I mean, I think he sort of
geniuses
understands common
don't.
sense, but he does not care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
He may understand it, but have no time for it.
okay. That's,
Social niceties and stuff like that. I don't know. Because it could
when
be
you
that way or it
discuss-
might not be.
when you discuss that he doesn't have time for it or something, they don't have the ability or capacity to do it.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
so-
In a way, I don't think he does.
And that's the way their characters are. But they also have a quirk like.
Oh, yeah. They have
okay,
a quirk.
yeah. Well, they have. Well,
My Hero
I'll-
Academia. They
I'll
have
s-
quirks, everybody.
no,
You're
no,
special.
no. Just listen what I'm talking about. The kids that I had that had autism
Yeah.
had a certain thing that it was so heightened I couldn't stand it.
Oh, yeah.
So, like one of the kids I had, and he was
sorry.
great at everything else. I mean, he could deal with life a whole lot better simply because he had been trained at an early age. Okay, so his mom knew he had Alzheimer's, knew he had it at about 2 years old.
Uh-huh.
So they were working with him a lot.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about it was, in most areas, you wouldn't have realized he was autistic in a lot of ways because he'd been worked with a lot.
I kind of wish that ADHD had been treated kind of the way that autism is treated now.
Right.
Like, had there been more information and more understanding instead of, oh, they're just hyper.
Well,
or just this, a lot of
better
it was
than
kind of
years
blown off.
before that. It's
Yeah.
all they.
But like, I
put
think,
that kid in the
I-
shrink. And
yeah,
send
I
him
think it would have
off.
been helpful for both of us in that
Yeah.
case because you would have had a better grasp on how to handle
Treat it
having
if I knew about
an
it.
ADHD kid.
Right.
And in that capacity, you'd have been able to show me how to better,
Function.
adapt
Yeah.
to having ADHD. Like,
But they didn't know.
but I don't. Well, I mean, and everybody thinks it's physical. It's not physical. It's all this. My brain is
Your
wired
brain
differently
is-
than most other people's. I don't have a neurotypical brain. I have a
Right.
neuroatypical brain,
Exactly.
and so I have a smaller frontal lobe.
Yeah.
And so because of that, that's where a lot of the concentration and stuff goes.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm not using technical terms. Guys, please look up some stuff about ADHD, and you feel free to look up stuff about autism in case you're curious
Well,
about whether Senku
What
has
I
it
was
or
going to
not.
tell you is, I called it a quirk. It's not really
Yeah.
a quirk. Is like this little kid, whenever he saw trash, he just, like he about throw up. So what I'm trying to tell you is,
As
they
in like
have one-
littering and stuff.
No,
Or just a
he's
trash can?
Okay, when he went to put his stuff in the trash can,
Uh-huh.
it would make him sick, and he'd freak out.
Okay.
So they each have their little thing that
Yeah.
made them freak out.
Yeah.
I called
I
it
mean-
quirk was the nice word
Well,
for
quirk
it.
is a nice word because it's
You
like
know.
you have a mental superpower.
Well, so with them, that was their mental defectiveness.
Yeah. So that was
Their-
essentially
yeah.
their weakness,
their
kryptonite.
weakness.
Ha ha!
set them
You
off.
can't outthink me. I have a bucket of trash.
Well, I mean, so if he
Your waifu is in there.
He
Ha
never-
ha!
So everyone else had to put the trash up for him. He couldn't
Yeah.
do it. I mean, otherwise, you learn to work around his
Yeah.
thing. The other one had different issues. It's a lot of things that set him off. You'd be in a crowd or some event, and he'd go bananas. You'd have to put him in the back. So that's
Could
what
not
I'm
be
saying.
around large groups of
group-
people.
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
I can
So-
relate.
so
I'm not big
see-
on that either.
It's just that. So everybody has their different things that are good and bad about themselves. We
Right.
all do. But with them, it's a
heightened.
big heightened
Yeah.
thing, and I don't know, I'd wonder how today, this kid's now an adult, how does he deal with life now
Right.
as an adult? Either one of them. So, interesting to figure out. They were good kids. I had them in 2007, I think. So they're pretty old now.
I bet. Yeah. They're
They were kindergartners.
13 years
then.
older now.
Yeah. and
So
they're
if they were
about
5
6
and you're
or
adding
7,
13,
yeah.
they're about 18 now. They're
Yeah,
almost adults.
They'd probably.
Be graduating
Yeah.
around now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that's kind of cool. They'll be graduating
Yeah.
in like a couple of months
Yeah.
if things went well.
Well, one of them I can say for sure probably so. The other one, it's a little iffy.
Okay.
But it did teach me some things.
That's the other thing about that's the tough part about trying to grade on a scale, because you have different children with different needs, and that puts extra pressure on teachers.
Well, also it would put. What I decided to handle with is.
And also, just because you have a kid that has different needs doesn't mean you need to throw them into special ed.
Right. And they came with an assistant, but I had to take 2 of them to get the assistant.
Oh, wow.
Only half a day was what they get help for. And one of them needed them all day by himself.
Jeez.
So it was really hard.
Wow.
But the neat thing was, that was the most compassionate class I had ever had. Because I talked to all the others and explained to them what was going on. So
Right.
they're different from you, but we still love them. And that's a neat thing.
And it's okay to be different.
Yes.
Explaining that it's okay to be different is good.
And I said, they can't do some of the things you can do. And one of them couldn't sit still and listen to a story even. No, you were good at listening to stories. You
Listen to
loved
story.
stories.
Oh, I love story. I absolutely.
You love to read. And
Still,
you love life stories.
clearly, I still
You
do.
still do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll sit
you
down
loved
for
it when you were
a
baby.
good story, man.
You loved it when
Absolutely.
you were a baby.
Yeah, man.
And so, but the one, he couldn't sit there and listen without making noises or something to soothe himself. So everybody
I understand
in
the
the
sitting.
class,
I understand the not being able to sit still
well,
part
he'd
because I have
rock
to
and
constantly
stuff
move.
like that
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah.
so what we understood, and I made them understand, was they can't do it, or especially this one. He can't do it at all. So just because he can't doesn't mean you get off on it.
Doesn't
You're
mean
going to get in trouble if you do that, but he won't because he's incapable. And
Right.
and that I think they understood eventually that we are all different, and we can't be treated the same because of that difference.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you just have to treat people differently,
Okay.
and I bet you find that out in here. You have to treat people a little differently. Not
In a way. I mean, in a way,
he
but I don't
is
think so.
different.
Well, yeah, he's very different.
He's different. And he doesn't understand the concepts of his best friend so much. He understands it, but not for himself.
Yeah, he
I mean,
well,
he can relate to it by seeing it.
he
but
sees
he
the
doesn't-
sees the scientific benefits, or just the
That's
benefits of
it.
having him, like, he's his best friend and he cares about him, but he also sees him useful as an assistant in
Yes.
certain areas.
I can
But I
see
mean,
that
also in the
already.
world of survival,
Well, yeah.
that's a
You
whole
need
that's a
someone else
very
to
big deal
survive.
too. It's like, yeah, I really needed somebody with a limitless supply of stamina to do all
Well-
this stuff that I can't do.
Well, the friend is way more physical.
Yeah, well,
and able
okay.
to do the
I would say
physical
this. I would
things.
say this. If you were to break these two characters down, they almost make a person.
Right.
Because-
Exactly.
They,
He's
because,
very smart.
because he's all brain and the other guy is all heart.
Bronze.
No, he's not strong.
strong?
He just has a lot of stamina.
Oh,
He's not
okay.
strong.
He's not strong.
No.
He looked like he was strong.
The guy that was strong was the guy that he was talking about, the
Okay.
statue that he was talking about of like the high school primate or whatever, like
Okay.
the great, that
So
guy's
he
got
was the
strength
strong
and
one.
power. He was the
Okay.
strong one.
Yeah, but when you
but
have heart,
he's
try
got a
harder.
lot of heart, and he's got unlimited stamina. So he can. That's
can
why you
try
saw him
harder.
just grapes.
Yeah,
Just smashing them grapes.
yeah.
So that's him. All
Okay,
right.
I get it.
All right,
All right.
guys. I hope this has been a fun and interesting conversation. Hopefully, you didn't skip over it. But feel free to come back for episode 2. We will be watching episode 2, absolutely guaranteed. It's up to Mom if she wants to watch more. But you do seem I like the conversation that this has generated. So
Yeah,
just based
it
on
just made me see something and look at things and look at people I've been around. How does it relate?
based on
Yeah.
the conversation that we're able to have about this, I'm really enjoying that we watched this, and I think
That's
you're
been
gonna
good for
enjoy
me.
at least another episode. You might enjoy more, but you only have to do 2.
It's about all I can do while I'm here.
All right, guys. We'll see you for the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.